everyone, and welcome to the tavern. It's no surprise that I'm doing yet another WotC video. In the last episode, I put up a text box that made brief reference to the AI engineer job available at WotC. Well, as it turns out, there's been a whole firestorm that's actually come out of this job posting. While I thought it was not enough to actually report on, the aftermath of the events is something I find worthy to report on. It is nice to know that there are more and more people standing up against Wizards of the Coast and want to bring a stop to adding AI into tabletop. However, for those of you who may not have seen some of my previous videos, let's have a brief rundown about Wizards of the Coast and artificial intelligence. We have had multiple occurrences of Wizards of the Coast being busted for AI art. The first big one, of course, was the release of Bigby Presents Glory of the Giants, which people noticed in the preview pages that the artwork looks like it was AI generated. They since replaced the art, but that was still a very black mark. We also had AI used in the creation of some promotional images, which also got removed as well. We've also had some allegations of tracing as well, which may also have been AI connected. But the one thing that seems to be consistent whenever they get busted for AI art, Wizards of the Coast has a tendency of trying to replace or erase that event, to try to make people forget, which is why I remind everyone every single time I do one of these videos. The AI engineer posting was actually posted quite some time ago, but only recently really blew up in the news. The job itself seems to focus on building up AI programs that can be connected to various Wizards projects, in addition to developing an AI that sounds eerily similar to an AI DM, which most of us know is coming, and many of us do not want. It required a few people on Twitter and on Reddit to really spread around this job posting, which definitely got a lot of people angry and really shows the direction that Wizards of the Coast is going as a company. Not only that, but Hasbro has connection with Explored, which is an AI technology company, and of course, Hasbro has been using AI-type technology in a Trivial Pursuit game and with a virtual Ouija board. Yes, that's right, AI ghosts. The big thing that's really going down is that a lot of people seem to be reacting. Now, a lot of this comes from various online responses, so how deep this goes is questionable, and some of the things I've been told should be taken with a grain of salt. What we know is this is causing another big moment amongst various people to cancel D&D Beyond. This is in addition to a lot of the other things that have been happening with that program. This includes the OGL controversy from a few years ago, forcing players to buy things as bundles instead of a la carte, limitations on homebrewing, and of course, constant rumors on the removal of certain books, and of course, the removal of content sharing, which is really getting a lot of players worried about the future of D&D Beyond. But it also seems like there are a lot of stores that are now getting sick of WotC and their behavior. There have been internet rumors about stores wanting to cut down on WotC products. I find this highly unlikely. I generally believe that this is just upset employees posting online and venting their frustrations at how Wizards of the Coast has been treating the D&D IP. I will believe this when I see stores acting on these threats. But for the time being, I don't think we're going to see any real changes at your local game store. Considering how rarely Wizards of the Coast releases new sourcebooks for D&D, I don't see that as being a huge difference, but with the 50th anniversary of D&D this year, we are getting some art books and things like that, which I guess will be significantly harder to find if it is true that game stores are going to start turning their backs on Dungeons & Dragons. I don't think that's going to happen, because I think there's still too much money to be made with D&D until more people turn against Wizards of the Coast and stop buying Dungeons & Dragons related products. To make matters worse, the response from Wizards of the Coast is outright pathetic and comes to us via comicbook.com. The response that they received when asking questions about this AI engineer role is that their stance hasn't changed when it comes to AI. They don't want to use it for art, but in other aspects of gaming, it could be a useful tool. Specifically, they bring up video games, which could mean a lot of different things because depending on how you want to define video game, that could be anything from a simple mobile game to a significantly more complex, larger game like Baldur's Gate. They also had the audacity to say, you can check out our FAQ on how we feel about AI, which is ridiculous in my book because they can change that whenever they want. And it's not like they haven't taken the time to cover up other moments of using AI in the past, even though they've stated multiple times that they will not use AI art in their products. And finally, as a reminder, Chris Cox has been very, very pro-AI for D&D and Magic the Gathering, as I covered in a previous video. This position is no surprise. We know that Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro want to incorporate AI into more and more products. They've made that abundantly clear over and over again. The big thing is, when it comes to tabletop, is the idea of the AI Dungeon Master. While neither Wizards nor Hasbro has actually said that AI DMs are coming, they have made enough inferences towards it that make me believe that this is something we're all going to have to deal with in the future, especially if we're part of D&D Beyond or some other tabletop program. However, for the time being, these are technically leaks and rumors because there hasn't been an official announcement. AI Dungeon Masters may also be one of the reasons why we are still getting 1D&D despite the fact that no one seems to be interested in a new version of 5th edition. You can tell because they've even changed the rules with those 1D&D playtests that many of us did, and I even reported on a couple of times way back when. A lot of the changes have been done to simplify the classes and to simplify the rules to some extent. In fact, there's a lot of what I would call idiot proofing in the wording of some of the 1D&D playtests that had been handed out. It is possible that they were trying to idiot-proof D&D so that an AI, which anyone who's had experience with any of these programs will know, is not the brightest bulb on the tree, because it is limited to having as much intelligence as the programmer can provide it. And if the programmer puts in their own personal biases or skips aspects that they might not even think about, especially when it comes to something like being a DM in Dungeons & Dragons, it's going to lead to a lot of problems. In addition to the fact that if you talk to any kind of AI chatbot, they will forget information about you within 5 sentences. So it's pretty obvious that AI is not at a level where it could be a DM, and odds are if it was set up as one, it would probably be a fairly terrible experience because it won't be able to replicate the human-to-human interaction that makes Dungeons & Dragons and other tabletop games significantly more fun and interesting. The sad part is, it's only going to get worse. No matter how much we complain and how much we fight, it feels like Wizards and Hasbro are on the AI train no matter what. So all we can do as customers is to vote with our checkbook. We don't have to buy any more Dungeons & Dragons materials. If you have all your old 3.5 books, you can play 3.5 whenever you want. Heck, I've been wanting to go back to AD&D, Classic 2nd Edition, what I grew up on. Yeah, it's hard as nails, but it's rewarding when you actually win. Or, if you do have a handful of 5th edition books, you're good. You don't need to buy any more books. Work with what you got and then make up your own adventures. The more customers they lose, the more incentive they have to stopping their AI projects. However, I think we're all aware that we're going to get more AI art stories, more AI-themed apps, more AI-themed projects coming from these companies, and the best we can do is find alternatives and move on with life. If they want to go down the AI train, let them. We need to go and find new games, better games, support them, and promote them to each other and to other people online, at the game store, or even at conventions. Because once we start playing other games, all of this madness will no longer be our concern, and the sinking ship that is Hasbro and all their subsidiaries can just sink to the bottom of the ocean as we all rise up and play better games. Tell me in the comments what you think about all these new AI projects. And if you do run a game store, let me know what you think about all this and if you're going to be part of this potential store boycott of D&D products. Until next time, thank you for watching, fight the good fight, and remember, I'll see you at the tavern.